and welcome to Adam Does Real Estate. I'm your YouTube real estate guide here in California, and today we're going to be talking about the 7 questions you should ask your realtor before you list your home on the market. So I recently listed my house on the market and I need to get a little closer to the office. I'm spending a lot of time commuting back and forth. Last year I drove about 1,045 hours, which equates to a lot of driving. So I need to get a little closer, and I'm going to go share with you guys my experience and how this whole thing has changed my perspective when I'm listing a house and I really feel what the seller's going through, because it becomes a full-time job of having the house clean and making sure that all the appointments line up and you don't miss out on that one buyer that's going to make the right offer for your house and get your house sold. So today we're going to talk about the 7 questions that you should ask your realtor when you're interviewing them to list your house. So the first question that I ask any realtor, and if I got somebody as an amateur or a professional, is a simple question. I say, who will take the pictures? If they pop out their iPhone or their Galaxy, it doesn't matter what kind of phone it is, even if it's a DSLR, I go and take that application and put it to the bottom, because the pictures are the whole story in real estate, guys. Over 50% of the actual buyers are coming from the internet. So if the pictures are poor quality, or they have a bad photographer, or somebody that doesn't take the time to actually showcase a property, your property is not going to get the views that it deserves. Because if you don't come on strong in the very beginning, it's more than likely that your home's going to sit on the market. And when your home sits, the value is going to depreciate and you're going to go ahead and net less money. So make sure that you got a realtor that's committed to taking professional pictures. If they want to do things such as Matterport, aerials, those kind of things, great. One thing you do want to look for in pictures is going to be called HDR, full frame pictures. And what that basically means is they take 3 pictures, and they take the 3 pictures and they blend them all together, getting rid of the shadows and making the pictures and the lighting perfect. So HDR pictures is what you want. And the second question that I asked when I was interviewing was, are you a full-time realtor? So here's the thing. If you have somebody that's going to be listing your most valuable asset and they're going to be putting it to market, and they have another job from 9 to 5, and they get that one call at that one moment from that one buyer that wants to go see it, or their agent calls in, how do you know that that buyer is going to get the attention that they want and deserve? You want to make sure you got yourself a full-time realtor. This is going to be one of the most important decisions that you make, so choose wisely. The sale of your home should not be a second priority in any situation, so make sure you keep that in mind if you do end up going with a part-timer. And what will happen more than likely is that you may lose out on a few of the buyers that could have really brought your house to the next level, got you that extra little bit of money, or got you in a multiple offer situation. And now the third question that I'm going to mention here is going to seem very silly, but I see this a lot. Who will take the call? So here's the thing. A lot of times when I see homes that are listed on the market, the agent says call the landlord, or call the owner, call the tenant. Anytime you're listing your most valuable asset, you want to make sure that that realtor that you're paying a commission to, compensation, whatever you want to call it, is going to handle the call. That's why you're hiring them, because when that agent or that buyer calls in, the most important thing is the first impressions. You never get a redo on first impressions. So you want to make sure that you, A, never take any calls, and B, your tenant doesn't take any calls if there is somebody residing in the house, and that all calls are always handled by the agent. This is super, super important. The fourth question you want to consider when listing your house is asking, are you a solo agent? So if you're going to list your house and that agent is a solo agent, which means they don't have one other team member that works with them closely, or they're not on a team, well, what happens to the sale of your house when that agent goes on vacation? The longer it sits on the market, the less you'll get, right? Well, if we know that in hindsight, this is something you really want to consider a little bit more thoughtfully, and get yourself an agent that's on a team or has a team member that works closely with them at all times. So you're going to be able to get a hold of somebody 7 days a week, and every buyer is always welcome to come and see it. Question 5, and from a realtor's perspective, I think this is a really important question, because if you're going to leave the sale of your most valuable asset to somebody, you want to make sure that that person is in the same caliber financially as you and the mindset that you have, because there's a lot of responsibility riding in a home sale. So here's the question you want to ask. Do you currently own your own home? And I know this doesn't sound like a big deal, and homes are very expensive, especially here in California. However, it is a very, very important decision who you list your house with. So this is something that I do recommend that you ask that agent, is if they own their own home. If they own their own home, they can understand some of your worries and concerns, because it's a big decision, right? And you want to have somebody that's in that same mindset. It will really make this whole process a lot easier and a lot funner. And the 6th question that I ask is, are they a Zillow Premier agent, or do they know anything about that? And I'm not the biggest fan of Zillow. I personally am no longer a Zillow agent as of about a week ago. However, the team that I'm on, we spend a great bunch of money on Zillow, and you don't have to have an agent that's a Zillow Premier agent. However, they need to know about the platform, and one of the reasons is because when your home goes on the market, they need to be able to go to the house and have an iOS phone, because they no longer allow Androids to do this, and go shoot a walkthrough video that doesn't have any audio of the house. And when they do this, it'll rank your house a lot higher on Zillow's platform. And even though I'm not the biggest fan of Zillow, I have seen when a house ranks really high on Zillow, there's more buyers walking through, I'm getting more offers. This is something you want to pay attention to. And the 7th and last question is going to be, are they accredited with any kind of certification for sellers and negotiations? So there's going to be certain programs out there like RENE, stands for Real Estate Negotiation Expert. And I love this certification, and I got this myself when I first entered real estate, because it teaches us this one thing about negotiation. It's not always the price, right? So in real estate, there's terms, there's price, there's all kinds of things. So when you have somebody that's RENE certified, they're more likely to focus on the whole picture instead of the price. Every single time something happens, they're chipping away at your profit. Lower price, lower price. And the 2nd certification that I highly recommend that any listing agent have, if you're watching this and you're real estate, check out the SRS designation, guys. And it stands for Seller Representation Specialist. And this really helps you get the most amount of money for any seller. This SRS certification teaches agents how to get the sellers the most amount of money, and how to go about closing the transaction successfully and not being blindsided by such things as lower appraisals, bad inspections. It just gives them that little competitive edge you need to make sure that your home closes on time and for the most amount of money. So you want to check out the RENE certification and the SRS certification from the National Association of Realtors. And then, if you guys didn't already know, guys, I'm over here at Keller Williams Realty, and I love Keller Williams, and I have a kind of a knack for spotting a talented agent. So if you're in the market for real estate, whether in Southern California, out of state, and you want access to a top agent in my network, I made it really easy for you guys. You guys can text me, call me, and I'll get you in contact with that person. And I'm going to go ahead and fill them out a little bit for you to make sure you're dealing with a professional full-time agent and that has all those certifications and some of the things that I mentioned to you right now. So if this is something that's important to you, definitely reach out to me. My contact information will be below. My website is AdamDoesRealEstate. And if you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell as well. So anytime I post videos that are aimed to save you time and empower you as a home buyer or a seller, that you guys will get notified. And I really appreciate your support.